Unbelievable! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 125 of The Grove Podcast. Now, I hope you're all doing well and looking forward to the weekend. Look, they say that these third round EFL Cup games are instantly forgettable, and the game against Port Vale was no different. So not sure that's going to make good podcasting, as either we can't remember what happened or listeners are not actually that bothered about being reminded, but we'll give it a go anyway. We'll also be looking ahead to the Newcastle game and covering bits of Arsenal news from the last few days. And joining me today to help jog our collective memories is Holly from the North Bad podcast. Holly, how are you? And do you have any recollection of what happened Wednesday evening?
I went to bed quite late, I think. Beyond that, was there a game? Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. In fact, look, Holly is the Grove's very own super sub. Called into action.
Trossard. Oh no!
Called into action at the very last minute. So hopefully he gives us a Martinelli or after his favourite player Trossard-esque performance. But there we go. So yeah, no, appreciate you being on. And look, go on quickly. If you can remember, where can people find the North Bank Pod?
See, you say that. I have actually just written it down, so I won't forget. I've only been involved with the pod for like 3 years. At North Bank Pod, everywhere. That's pretty much it. Steph will be proud of me, I think.
And even on TV after a recent,
Yeah.
recent star-studded performance.
We are the voice of the Arsenal fan base, don't you know?
Very impressive. And look, as you always forget, but we don't, if you'd like to give us a follow, subscribe, leave a rating, comment, whether you like the pod or not, please do. It just helps us get into the ears of other people, and it's greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. That's a little bit of self-publicity. And look, there we go. Look, let's get on with the show. We're on a bit of a deadline. I've got to drop my son off at university, and Holly's got kids to look after.
So just a caveat, a forewarning: a 3-year-old may well appear in the background, and if you're listening to this, you may hear the 3-year-old appear in the background rather than see him.
And more likely to be more erudite than you or I. So
completely. His favourite expression at the moment is "You are bum bum." So there you go. I can't compete with that.
We should get him on for the Newcastle section.
He's after his mother.
Okay, so look, the big news of the last couple of days is not Arsenal 2, Port Vale 0. Is William Saliba reportedly extending his contract until 2030, which is a massive boost for the club, given especially his status as one of the best centre backs in the world, and also in terms of his partnership. So at 24. That's amazing. He's committing his peak years to Arsenal, which reflects, I think, strongly in terms of what he feels the club can offer and where we're going. So how do you feel about that? How do you relate to that news? How did you feel about the news?
Well, there's a few kinds of layers to it. Number one, if you want to question Arteta or question his approach, his certain goes fine, but there is no greater barometer for his project than what the players believe. And we've signed up Saliba, you've just said, overtures from Real Madrid, no less. And he's committed his best years to us, or at least guaranteed that we'll get a massive fee for him if he does go to Real Madrid, which is good. But clearly the players are committed to Arteta. They're on board. They're buying into whatever it is we're going to achieve. They're on for that. And I did read somewhere that apparently Saliba and Gabriel had quite a few conversations over the summer where they talked about, right, should we do this? You know, shall we commit to this for the next 5 years and make sure that this is the club with which we achieve all our footballing goals? And so that's great. That's brilliant. He's who have we got left? Just Saka left, isn't there? Of all the big names to sign on. Again, a 3-year extension, I guess, one way of looking at it. So 5 years till 2030. It's just brilliant. He's the Rolls Royce of centre backs. You know, who's better than him? You know, I mean, Gabriel runs him close. Probably the goals probably edge Gabriel. But wow, aren't we blessed to have those two guys at the back for us. So it's brilliant. It's just great news.
No, it
Completely out of
is.
the blue as well. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting it to go into his final season like it did last time with his contract. So a real kind of shot in the arm for sure.
Well, no, that's definitely a positive. Like, I like the idea that they're talking together. So if one signs, the other's signing. It's just details, isn't it? It is nice that we don't have to. Hello, we don't have to worry too much about it dragging on until next year. That's all good.
Okay,
We've got a special guest with us.
I'm struggling to coax him out of the room.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine if we then have to make a decision at the end of the year, say, oh, do we sell him? Do we
Yeah.
keep him? And that's uncertainty. So I think it's great. You add that to Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Nwaneri, Saka is going to come. I'm sure of it. You know, and retaining talent like that, which in the past we didn't used to. So. And it is, I said, look, there's a lot of noise around the club at the moment. The mood amongst fans is very volatile, swinging from like blind optimism to huge frustrations depending on the results.
That was just you during Sunday's game against Man City, wasn't it?
Oh, don't get me started on that. I was so annoyed. So yeah, I think it says a lot about the club, and internally it says huge amounts, as you said, what the players believe in Arteta, believe in the project. I think that says a lot more than the noise on the social medias out there.
It's also, what was the buzz phrase from the summer? All the players that we signed, only Arsenal.
Yeah.
Players want to come to us, and the players we have want to stay. And these are not like middle of the road players. These are potential world class players.
And the other thing is that it attracts talent down the future. A bit like when we had the likes of Henry and Vieira and Petit. Every youngster in France, his second club was Arsenal. So
Saliba.
Yeah, exactly. So like if we retain the best talent, we will get the best talent in the future. So I think it's just win-win on so many levels. Look, he's going to be paid handsomely. That's but that's just by the by. I think
that's irrelevant, really. Yeah.
It says a lot about the club, and I think everyone's really pleased. So Saka signed the thing, and we move on. So there we go. I think everyone.
Was that your street? Thing?
As a street as I get. And look, I can't see anyone moaning about this. So that's for once Arsenal fans
give it. Yeah, they'll find something. I don't know. It's only 5 years.
Yeah. Why isn't it
Chelsea 7 years and 8 years?
Exactly. But there we go. We're all really pleased, and away we go. And watch him get injured and be out for the rest of the season.
Stop it.
Newcastle. Okay, so look, on to Port Vale. We just do a quick review of that, as we always do. What was your highlight and low light of the game, if you have any?
Well, full caveat here. I watched as live the first 30 minutes, and then fast forwarded on ×6 speed on the telly to the last few minutes. I knew what the scores were online. I knew what was happening. So I'm not best placed to. I think highlight would be just a kind of qualification with ease. That was the whole point of the day. That was it. There was nothing else to be garnered from it. The low light, I guess, was seeing Saka in the starting lineup, like before kickoff. I'm like, really? He shouldn't be anywhere near this game. Now, it worked out all right for him in the end, but there was a collective Arsenal intake of breath when that Port Vale player studded him down on the top of his foot, thinking, that's it, metatarsal. What happened? Do we not have the footballers not have metatarsals before? Because around the old Beckham World Cup thing, everyone was getting metatarsals broken.
There are trendy injuries. So there was metatarsal, then it's your ACL, and now it's your hamstring. So they're just following the trends.
Yeah. I just thought we kind of evolved very quickly out of metatarsals because there were too many of them or something.
Yeah. Look, actually, I wrote this down. What was really funny about that Saka moment was that we all saw him got clobbered, and we all took they said the intake of breath, but none of the medical staff on the bench got up. He was lying on he was like, because I was at the game and I was watching it, and it's like, normally they get up and they wait on the sideline waiting for it to come on the pitch. No one moved. there was no one ready to come on, and he was just lying there on his own, no one ready to come on, the ref not doing anything. And so I was like, he's fine. He's not that injured. He's just doing his usual Saka thing. He likes to egg it a bit. So or milk it a bit.
Outrageous slur.
But he does. So yeah, I wasn't too concerned, but it was quite funny that no one budged. So there we go. I mean, look, Arteta said, the maximum we wanted to play is 60 minutes. There's a lot of games coming up now. He comes from an important injury again, and we need to manage his load. He'll be around for Newcastle, and I think maybe he's a bit like some of these players. It was a training exercise for him. It was a training session. He would have had harder training sessions, and it's a bit like Rice, who needs minutes in his legs, consistency to play. Again, maybe he's one of these people that I'd rather him be fit and firing for Newcastle than warming up in Newcastle. And look, given the way we train, given the way we train, there's no guarantee that you won't get injured in training. So maybe a game against Port Vale playing in second gear is not as hard.
I don't know. Arteta says that, but he's got to say that he broke Saka last season, and Saka still is breakable this season as a consequence. There's no getting away from that. Havertz the same. I find it a bit rich that a manager turns around and says, we've got to manage his load whilst playing him for 60 minutes in a League Cup match at Port Vale, when Max Dowman's on the bench and could easily have started. I know Madueke's injured, but Dowman could have easily started that game.
The thing is with starting Dowman, he's a 15-year-old, and he would not be able to last longer than 30 to 45 minutes against grown men and stuff like that. So you can't start him.
Do you think you can? I can't. I don't think you can lump him in with other 15-year-olds. He's quite clearly broken that mold. So whatever you think a 15-year-old should or should not be doing, it does not apply to Max Dowman.
It's not just a physical thing; it's a mental thing as well. And this is also what happens with Waneri, is that they switch off because they're just so knackered concentrating for so long. It's just also mentally coping with playing for such a long time in a men's game is very different to playing at under 21s or under 18s.
Sorry, you just said the training sessions would be more intense.
Yeah, but they're broken up into 20-minute blasts, and they get breaks and all the rest of it, and that's a physical thing rather than a mental thing, and that's.
But take him off. Take him off after 60 minutes.
Anyway, look, these guys know more than us.
Saka should not have played.
We'll leave that argument to another day. Well, look, I mean, my highlight, and this says a lot about the game. So my three highlights were, first off, I found out that Port Vale and Arsenal are the only two teams in the league to not be named after a place. So there we go. I think
I knew Arsenal. I didn't know Port Vale.
Yeah, Port Vale's not a place. Unfortunately, it's in Stoke. Unfortunately for them and us.
I can see why they try to change that from like Stoke to Stoke Athletic or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So during the game, there was one moment where the Port Vale keeper had two balls and he passed a ball back to the ball boy, but it was a bit hard, and the ball boy tried to control it, and it bounced straight back onto the pitch. And this was right in front of the Arsenal fans, and I think that was one of the biggest cheers of the night. And there we go. So that says a lot about the game. And in terms of the low light, was just waiting for my McDonald's for an extended period of time after the game when I was trying to drive home. So there we go.
Right. So real game oriented high and low lights there.
Yeah, indeed.
Worth the trip.
It was. Oh no, it was good fun. I mean, the crowd were in good voice. I mean, they were bantering at any moment.
Well, you saw Ez's first goal.
Yeah, that was class, and that was a lovely goal, and we'll get onto that. Before we get onto that, and well, actually, in terms of the lineup, so the likes of Eze started, the likes of Saka we discussed, Martinelli, Waneri, Marino, Norgard, Lewis Skelly, Mosquera, Saliba, White, Kepa. What did you make of that lineup apart from Saka?
Well, I thought it was stronger than I'd anticipated. However, he did make 9 changes from the team that started against Man City, so. And we have got well-documented injuries at the moment to 4 or 5 players at least. It was nice to see Ben White start. That was good. Would have. I mean, look, Saliba. We had no choice. We had no alternative really. And if you're offering me a Saliba or a Calafiori start, I want a Saliba start because Calafiori is a lot more fragile than Saliba. But look, they got. I can't have any issues with it. I mean, it would have been nice to see Martinelli through the middle, up top, not Marino. But I thought Marino played a bit deeper. Martinelli could play through the middle as on the left. But it's not.
not going to.
If you're getting aerated at a team selection that's made nine changes from the previous game, then Newcastle, who were playing on Sunday, made 7 changes for their game, and they were home to Bradford.
Yeah.
So
I mean, on the Saliba thing, yeah, I mean, this is very typical Arsenal, very Kim Kallstrom. This Hincapié actually had surgery during the summer, which I don't think anyone realised.
no,
So he didn't have much of a pre-season, and I think he injured his groin in training. So that's otherwise he would have played rather than
yeah,
Saliba. But that's fine. And here's a brilliant stat about Saliba from Albinho. He completed 129 passes. Port Vale completed 115.
oh right, yeah, but having seen bits of the game, most of Saliba's passes were no more than 5 yards,
Yeah,
either straight in front of him or to his left or right. I'd imagine.
yeah.
Although he didn't he put the ball over for Trossard's goal?
Yeah, he's got an assist to his name after that. So yeah, he was the ball over the top, and I mean that seems to be a thing of late. I mean, how many goals have he scored recently with balls over the top and players breaking free? So it's
Well, about time.
yeah. So it's well, if you're given space, then we can do it. Unfortunately, not every team's going to give us that space. So we'll see. Yeah, and look, no youth to be seen anywhere, even on the bench. Yeah, there's not a hint of any youth. So yeah, that's the squad that we have, and that's who we are at the moment. So I'm all for
Well,
it.
they're all in the team.
Yeah, well, yes, but the likes of Josh Nichols or the double barrel centre forward whose name I can't pronounce.
Harriman and New.
Yeah.
The other guy though that could have had a sniff is Marley Salmon, the centre back.
Yeah.
Would have liked to have seen him on the bench maybe, but the game state was never such that you could have brought him on at like 3 or 4-0 up. So, but for the experience.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, just get him in there. I mean, in terms of how the game panned out, I mean, yeah, we had 81% possession to their 19. I think we had 1 expected goal to their 0.08. Yeah, 11
We had
shots there.
one our XG was 1.
Yeah.
That is
and that
awful.
and that just goes to show what it is.
How
I mean,
handbrakey we still are.
well, it's a tough one because look, you can't read too much into a third round EFL Cup tie against a League One opposition. You know, we made a load of changes, unfamiliar lineup, no connections, players coming back from injury,
All international players.
Yeah, but they're all managing their energy levels, playing in second gear. You know, so look, we won comfortably. I mean, the first you were lucky that you watched the first 30 minutes because the first 10 minutes we were actually pretty good. But other than that, not inspiring, a bit pedestrian. And like we've alluded to, I think they've had harder training sessions. I mean, what did you take from the game?
Oh, nothing at all. You win the game, get in the draw for the next round. No injuries, on you go. That's it. Job done. If you're looking for what your targets were, waking up Wednesday morning, well, that would have been it. No injuries, win the game, move on.
Yeah, and I think we just managed it. I think we maybe thought it was going to be a lot easier, or we were going to get that second or third goal. The only thing that frustrated me a bit was that we were playing sort of 2-3-0 football at 1-0, and now football is stupid, and you're playing on the margins, and something can happen. That they had that one shot that went over. You know, you just didn't want to get into a football match. You didn't want to get into a battle, and so it was a bit frustrating. We didn't just finish them off, and I think we found it so easy that we just expected it to happen, and it never really did. And so that would be the only sort of frustration that we didn't make more of that. I mean, this is League One opposition, and we couldn't tear them apart. But then I don't think we really tried. So again, it's not. I'm not going to get too much into it.
Yeah, you say that. I mean, we played that kind of football and that kind of game a lot last season. So that's the fear. You don't want that. Having said that, we beat the two inverted commas easy games we've had this season, like the 2 home games against Leeds and Forest. We haven't. We've gone for it. We've scored 8 goals, conceded none. So I'm looking at those 2 as kind of a sign that we are going back to Arsenal of the season before last season, which should be preferable.
Yeah, which would be nice. Which would be nice to see. So look, as you said, job done. Give players some minutes. Don't get any injuries. Win the game. Move on. And yeah, job done. So I normally sort of like do some key moments and key highlights, but I think it's literally just the goals. So
your McDonald's.
McDonald's, yes, that was very nice on the way back. It was much needed. Not that I can remember much of the journey, home. It was it was a struggle to stay awake on those motorways.
Were you driving?
I was indeed driving.
Okay,
Yes.
that's not good.
No, it's a memory for later. So yeah, Eze gets his first goal. And I think that's was it 1 goal and 2 assists in his last 4 games. So it was and he looked very very easy doing it, very very comfortable doing it. It was sort of Martinelli making an impact nonetheless. I'm not sure MLS meant his flick, but he got the flick nonetheless.
Well, he meant a flick,
Yeah,
not the one that actually transpired, perhaps. But
yeah. And then Eze comes along, very cool, very very smooth.
lovely goal, lovely finish.
Yeah, very nicely done. And he almost got a second. Keeper made a nice save, and that was from a nice pass from Marino. Just couldn't beat the keeper. And then in the second half, I think the only 2 things was the chance from Gyökeres from a brilliant pass by Dauman over the top, sent him free. The ball just wouldn't come down for him. He just never sat for him. And then by the time he got to shot, I think it was too close to the keeper. But that would have been nice. And then Trossard, your favourite player, as you said, long ball from Saliba. And Trossard did really well. Again, I've noticed a lot recently as well with these balls over the top. Our touch, our first touch to get the ball down. Oh, there's a dog there as well. The first touch from our players to control the ball on these long balls is really superb. And
that was a lovely goal. It was a lovely goal.
Yeah.
Did he come off the bench?
Yes, I think we've hit peak Trossard. Bench scores, starts nothing. Bench scores.
It's been like that for a while.
And what happens now against Newcastle? Does he start? I hope
no.
No.
That's my personal.
But this is him. This is so him. It's sort of like it's just like we just got to find a lane and keep him there and sod his grumpiness and just say, look, sorry, this is who you
Him
are.
and Martinelli off the bench. 2 things: signal how strong our first 11 is, and gives us a real threat from the bench for late on in games.
Yeah. So look, next up we have. So we're through, and next up we have Brighton Hove Albion at home, which is a bit of a bogey team for us. I think we last played them a few years back and lost 3-1 in the 3rd round. And in fact, Arsenal have won just 2 of their last 8 home matches against Brighton.
That's down to the referee last season.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just there was the 3-0 defeat when we were chasing the league a couple of years back, and then we lost 3-1 to them in the EFL Cup. Yeah, they just. I don't know. We just don't like playing them.
I don't like their manager.
Oh, I don't think anyone does. It's just
spiky git.
Yes, exactly. So look. Anything else? I mean, in terms of the game, like Dauman, did you? Oh no, you would. Well, he would have looked really fast for you at time 6.
I think he had 2. He had a flick and he had the through ball. But no, not.
I mean, we all sang "You Got School in the Morning" when he came on, and then that was another.
He is. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's in year 11.
It's incredible. So we were wondering if there was any safeguarding issues with him actually being out that late on a school night. I don't know. But,
someone may have reported him.
It's fine. Hello.
I can't fit there.
Can you mute me?
Okay. So I was wondering if he was actually allowed to play if he on a school night. But, but there we go. So look, it's nice to see him get minutes, and I don't think we've got any qualms in terms of how we manage our youth, and I think we're doing a good job there. So there we go. Dispatched, remembered, forgotten, and we move on, to Super Sunday. Look, we play Newcastle on Sunday at 4:30 in front of the nation, in front of the world, where the narratives and agendas have already been written by the pundits, waiting for us to prove them right. So basically, everything is set up for an Arsenal kicking. I mean, we have Liverpool supporting Jared Gillett as the ref, and we all know that Newcastle get ref differently too, that somehow they're allowed to get away with being overly physical. And I find it so odd that clubs get certain reputations that can favour them, and it's Newcastle, it's just who they are, and look, you can't book everyone, right? So you just end up booking no one, and look, Newcastle haven't really got going this season, and it's all set for Newcastle loving, and who better than Arsenal to be the opposition for this occasion. And so a double whammy for everyone wanting to see us fail, and let's just hope we spoil the party. So after all that, what are you looking forward to and not looking forward to as far as the game's concerned?
Well, I'm looking forward to Isak not scoring.
Well,
It's a difficult game. I mean, it is anyway, but for us, it seems to be more difficult for some reason. Well, for the reasons you've just alluded to there. But it's the sixth game of that opening 6-game spell, and I think for me, it's a must-win for us. But I think it's Arteta's team selection is probably as eagerly anticipated as the match itself from an Arsenal from my perspective as an Arsenal fan, because it will tell me whether he has. I mean, if Ødegaard is fit, Ødegaard starts, and it kind of negates any issues then with, well, does he play Marino? And the statistic I read out on our pod recently, I think you sent it to me actually as well, 3 wins out of 12 that Marino and Rice have started together. Are you sure? Despite Arteta making the change at half-time against Man City, are you confident that he won't start with exactly the same midfield 3 again? Newcastle didn't work at Anfield. And I know we have argued about this, but it is a results game, and we lost that game at Anfield, so therefore it didn't work. It didn't work. We had this argument before in the Man City kickoff, by the way, and I'm pretty confident you changed your tune through that first 45 minutes, as did Arteta, because he changed it at half-time. And who knew we were much better with an attacking player in an attacking position. And this is not to have a go at Marino. I think he's a fantastic player, but he's just not number 10. He's not that player. When we've got a £60 million player on the bench, Eze, who scored a winner against City in the FA Cup final a few months earlier, why on earth is he not starting that game? So Newcastle are physical. I'm sure Eze's played at St. James's before. He should start. Now, I would start him anyway.
Do you want to know what happened to him last time at Newcastle season?
What happened?
I think he missed the penalty and got hooked at 50 minutes.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's only one way you can go from that.
No, I mean, I just find that funny. But no, of course, we don't expect that performance.
So the team selection will be important. I think it's a must-win game. And that will a lot of that will stem from... Yes, I think it is, because I think Liverpool will beat... I'm assuming now Liverpool will beat Palace, although the last 2 remaining unbeaten records go head-to-head on the Saturday. Palace entertain Liverpool. But I'm assuming Liverpool win. I'm sorry, an 8-point deficit after 6 games, regardless of opposition. Liverpool have played us. They've also gone to St. James's. They were lucky. I mean, it's lucky Liverpool for me again this season. They played Newcastle without Isak and without any replacement for Isak. So they played Newcastle at probably the best time that they could have played them, really. And they were very fortuitous with the 10th minute winner from a 16-year-old. Newcastle's fault. Newcastle got back into the game brilliantly and then went for a winner, which they no, play for the draw now. Don't lose the game. And we could all see it happening. But yeah, I think it's a must win. I think 8 points, what an 8-point deficit to Liverpool means is that every subsequent game is a must win. The pressure it will heap on every other game just becomes far more intense. I mean, we're heading into a run of fixtures that are on paper look really comfortable for us after these 6. I mean, we've gone to Liverpool, we've gone to United, we've hosted City, and we'll have gone to Newcastle. And I think if we win, we're on 13 points. And I think 13 out of those 18 points from those 6 games, I think that's par for the course. I think that's what we would all have been satisfied with prior to the first game starting. Ideally, wouldn't have. But I think it's tinted with regret with what might have been certainly the Man City game, but also for me the Liverpool game. So it's tough. It's difficult. I'll be watching it through fingers from behind the sofa, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, tough. Yeah. But we have to win it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get onto the lineup and that in a minute. Yeah, I'm thinking. It's September. I hear what you're saying. It's September. We've come back from bigger deficits before and won.
once.
Tournaments, and also when we came second, I think a couple of years back, we were 10 points behind Liverpool in January, let alone in September. So it's still early days, but obviously you don't want to be in that position where you're 8 points behind, because the way they're going, if they haven't lost, they've got the luck and the referees on their side. You know, as you said, the PGMO want them to win. So,
I never said that.
I've got the video evidence, and look, we'll see. But I think it's more must not lose as opposed to must win. But we'll see. You're watching it through your hands, and I'm going to the game. So yeah, I would like to go out there and shut them up. It's never a great place for us to go.
Okay, can I say we've got the team to do that?
Yeah,
right. We need the manager to do that.
Well, okay. So I mean, in terms of how we approach this game, so there's two ways. That we know they're going to be physical. We know they're going to be Newcastle, and the crowd are going to be up for it. It's 4:30, so that everyone's going to be well oiled, and and they get behind it. They hate us. They hate Liverpool. There's no love lost between these two clubs, and so do you either go match them physical, so therefore you potentially look at Marino, or do you out football them? And then
you play to your strengths, right?
What are our strengths at the moment? Because I don't.
Well, we've got a world-class back four in front of a world-class goalkeeper, and in front of that world-class back four, we've got Zubimendi and Rice. That's your platform. That's secure. That's stable. You know, if the team ruffles that, good luck. Good on them. They'll have earned it, or we'll have made a mistake, like maybe Gabriel did, jumping into midfield for the Man City goal after 9 minutes on Sunday. And in front of that, and not saying that we have got no defensive-minded attackers. All our attackers are really hard-working and do their defensive part of their jobs really well. Even Eza, like he's played for Crystal Palace, a team that would have been under the cosh in far more games than they controlled. So he's used to the defensive part of his game. Don't think for a second because he's a more of a maverick Rolls-Royce kind of player. He does the hard graft as well. You can't survive and succeed without doing so. But in front of, and I think if Ødegaard's fit, there isn't a decision to make. Ødegaard will start. You know, Ødegaard is the number one starter in that position. Eze should be the second starter in that position.
That's what made it odd for Man City, because you said if Ødegaard's fit, he starts. So then you're changing everything with Marino. So why don't you just like for like? I think Liverpool. I think I said Arteta was sort of slightly pleased that Ødegaard wasn't injured, because I think he really wanted to play Marino. But against Man City, if he's fit, he will play. So that's the one thing that confused me about the City selection. And again, if he basically he's changing his tactics based on who's available, where you've got a like for like. Now look, I think maybe against City he was saying Ezra's not played in that role before. He hasn't played in there. Blah blah. He's got all the new player stuff. So maybe you can think, okay, I'm not going to put someone in there, but it's Eze. He's 27 years old, for crying out loud. Yeah, surely he should be able to.
He's not new to the league.
No, exactly. So, okay, so with that, I mean, what do you... I was trying to put together my lineup, and I'm getting confused between what I think Arteta will do and what I would like to see, and then I become an amalgamation. But what do you think the lineup's going to be?
Okay, so Raya in goal, back four as usual. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori will come in again. Rice and Zubimendi as the shield in front of those four. And I'm assuming, and I haven't heard, has Arteta had his... We're recording, what was it, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. Has he had his press conference?
No, it'll be a bit later because it's Sunday, so it'll be like 1, 2 o'clock maybe.
Okay. I'm the team I picked is Saka, Ødegaard, Eze, and Gyökeres up front. I think that's the strongest available team we've got, and that's a team that's solid enough to deal with anything Newcastle have, and attacking enough to cause them problems. Now, Newcastle haven't been brilliant this season so far. Anthony Gordon does come back into their team, so he does tend to. He's a threat. He's a high energy, high octane, annoying player. As his red card against Liverpool, of course, he would do that against Liverpool.
The only time that the referees do their job properly
is against Liverpool. Yeah,
of course.
Is in opposition. You're trying to get me in trouble again with the Scousers, aren't you? So.
Right. He doesn't take much. Look, actually, not quite breaking news, but Mikel Arteta says he's optimistic that Martin Odegaard will be part of the Arsenal squad that travels to Newcastle. So non-committal. So with his captain set to train today and tomorrow. So look, he's going to be part of the squad. Whether he starts or not, I'd imagine if he's there with the squad, you start. There's no point. I've never understood bringing people injured on the bench because something might happen in the first few minutes, like Saliba and Mascara. So, if you're fit, you're on the bench or you start. If you're not fit, you shouldn't be near there. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming he'll
if
start.
he was training like a few days ago as well,
Yeah.
because Arteta said in the build-up to the Port Vale game that Odegaard is fine, but that he was never going to play against Port Vale. He's not lacking match fitness or anything. It's just that shoulder, isn't it? So,
well, say that not lacking match fitness. So he played 10 minutes against Leeds, 10 minutes against Forest, and he's missed.
But he's had a couple of games for Norway in there as well.
Well, yeah. Well, was it Moldova was one of them? Anyway, so look, I think the key is not to go 1-0 down. I know that sounds obvious, but
okay, stop there. Right, so that's the attitude that does my head in. The key is to go 1-0 up. Right?
Yes.
Why is it the key is not to go 1-0 down? That's our problem right there.
I mean, as in, no, even if no matter who you play, because we can see we're struggling against City. We struggle now. I think that's partly because of the players we had on the pitch. We weren't set up to go 1-0 down, like to your point, and particularly at Newcastle, they're very good against us. Go 1-0 up, bunker down, thou shalt not pass. They've got all their 10-foot trees at the back. They've got their lumps kicking 7 shades of whatever out of us, and we can't get in the game. So it's and that's what I say. Yeah, go and force the issue. Go and be the ones that drives it, and we've got to quieten that crowd down. So go and take control. Go and be on the front foot. Nothing stupid. Nothing stupid, but just play our game, play our football. I think we don't know what our football is yet this year. I think we're struggling because of the injuries that we had. We're trying to bed in new players, and imagine if we had Saka fit, Havertz fit, Odegaard fit. I think we'd look very different and we'd be easing players in. So look, we loved what Madueke is doing because he's looked great, but we'd rather have Saka. I think Havertz would have been playing against Liverpool, against City, rather than Gyökeres. But Gyökeres is there; he's having to do a job. But we would have eased him in gently. At the back it's different. Mascara hasn't missed a beat when Saliba's been injured. So I don't know who we are at the moment. I don't know what we're trying to do. It's all a bit mixed, a bit jumbled. There is no flow. That craft, that creativity, it's in spurts. We're a very moments team. Set piece here, a moment there.
I don't know.
Where's a game that we've really built momentum?
Well, Leeds and Forest at home.
But were they really momentum game? Were they really? Oh my God! There's a goal coming. There's a goal coming. Versus, it was a few moments that broke things. That incessant, and I meant proper pressure, not like horseshoe of death and passive domination. It's more. We're probing, and actually trying to create things. And I'm not seeing a huge amount of that there. The flow side of things.
Yeah, and that's because Arteta won't allow that. Wenger's best teams would have the game won after 15 minutes because he's played to his strengths. Now, the Invincibles had a fantastic defence, but their true world-class players were at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah.
And he let them loose. Now, Arteta doesn't need to stick all 5 forwards on the pitch from minute 1, but it would be nice if we actually went for it. Like, I get the Liverpool away lineup to start with. I get it. But even then, it was like, well, where's the creativity coming? Where's the link between midfield and attack? Because there isn't one. And that's how it played out. Now, if we'd held on, we lost to a worldie. If we'd held on, then I could accept the argument for we didn't lose. So on we go. Look, we haven't lost. Toughest away game of the season, away at Anfield, and we've come away with a point. End justifies the means. But then to do that against Man City as well, I said on our pod, Man City came to us with an inferiority complex. which is brilliant in itself. Like, we should take a moment and pause on that. Newcastle will be really looking forward to this game. So we need to shut them up.
Yeah.
How dare they? If a team like Man City and Pep and Slot as well, Slot changed his tactics to meet us. Newcastle aren't as good as Liverpool and they aren't as good as Man City. So we need to back ourselves.
Yeah, and look, this season, as I said, they've not had the best start. They had all the Isak saga. Okay, they brought in Vissa and Voltemada and Elanga from Forest, but they played 5, won 1, drew 3, lost 1, only scored 3 goals, let in 3 goals. So yeah, look, the only thing is Howe does seem to have a number on Arteta. He does seem to be able to get one over him tactically. So
because Arteta allows it, he does it because
Yeah.
Arteta starts tweaking his team to mitigate Newcastle. We're the better team. Yeah, you've got atmosphere and all that, but they're the intangibles.
We need to quieten them. And look, they're without Shah, Ramsey, and Wissa. Okay, I don't know how much they would all be starting, whatever, but at least Wissa not being there is good. Voltemard.
Shah is a good big one, like the centre back. That breaks up that centre back pairing.
Yeah, but yeah, so they're not in the best of form. And as I said, it's all set up for the Newcastle loving. Like, I'm so glad I'm sort of there, so I can.
Oh yeah. I won't listen to it. Yeah.
All that nonsense. And look, before we get onto your prediction, here's a stat for you. Only twice since May 2022 have the Gunners lost consecutive league games on the road. The second defeat, both times, coming against
Ipswich.
Newcastle. So let's break that record. So look, we need to wrap this up. I think the kids are getting restless. I've got to drop my son off at university very soon. What's your prediction for the game scoreline?
Well, we actually haven't scored there in our last 3 visits, which is not good. And that's the League Cup semi-final last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My prediction: 2-1 win.
Yeah.
We have to win it, and I'm going to back it. I'm going to back. I just don't. That's why I'm looking at this team selection as really pivotal. Now, if Ødegaard is fit, he's off the hook. Arteta's off the hook. So it sounds like Ødegaard is fit and he will start, in which case I fully anticipate the midfield 3 being Zubimendi, Rice and Ødegaard. I'm on board with that. Absolutely no issue with that at all.
Martinelli or Eze?
Because Gordon's playing, I could see why Martinelli starts, and I've got no issue with that. I have an issue if Trossard starts because he's a bench player. He's a threat from the bench. So if Ødegaard is playing, then that takes the onus or the impetus off Eze starting. But if Ødegaard is not playing and Eze's not in that starting 11, I'm going for a walk. That's because where's the creative? Unless it's Waneri who starts, then that's fine.
I can't see that happening. No, he's too lightweight for that game. I'd imagine at the moment. I'd imagine so. Okay, well let's see. Look, I think.
Well, what about you?
I can see him starting Marino if Ødegaard's not fit.
And who on the left?
Then no, it'd have to be Eze. And that was my problem with the City game. It wasn't Marino. It was the combination of Marino and Trossard. So if you're going to play Marino, you've got to have Eze. Not Marino and Trossard. So it's that combination. Martinelli again, I could forgive. I can understand. So if he plays Marino, I think he's got to have Eze on the left. And if Ødegaard starts, then I don't mind if it's Nelly or Eze.
Yeah, I'd have Madueke on the left, but obviously we're stripped of that.
Yeah, he's now done for a couple of months or 8 weeks, so that's not in there. So that's what I think. Look, he puts out the 11. You've got to back them. Again, I think it's a very different thing when you're there versus when you're watching on TV. I think it's just a very different way of watching it. obviously, but I think it sets off different emotions.
I don't know. I had the same. I had the same emotions talking to you before the Man City game at the ground as I did at half time and as I did at the end of the game. I felt vindicated in my pre-game
I think my point is that when you're watching,
skepticism.
when you're there, you can say maybe see a bit more of what you're trying to achieve. I think television, you lose a bit of that, whereas you
But we
can.
don't. We know Marino. We know what
Yeah,
he's like as a player. We know
yeah,
where his strengths are. He's a
yeah,
fantastic footballer. And he's been brilliant for us. I don't know how much we paid for him, but it was worth it.
yeah,
Whatever we paid for him. He's a brilliant squad player. He's not in our best 11,
true.
right?
And
No,
he's not the creative spark
and
either.
he's not a number 10.
No, but he's also not a defensive midfielder, which also grinds my gears. He's not a DM.
But I'd have him. I'd have him as a as a defensive player in midfield before I'd have him as a number 10.
That's
His
interesting
skill
because
set his skill set's more. If you said you want him there for the physicality, or not you personally, but you would
but he,
want him
yeah,
there, right? So that's where that is in either box, and his physicality in midfield against people like Joe
yeah.
Linton and so on.
I would say that's physical from a forward perspective because actually, if you watch him play, he gets worse the closer to his own box he gets. So there was that time against City where
He turned back, yeah, and into trouble.
turned back. I think physically up front, in terms of he replaces that Havertz role in terms of a dual winner. He's
That's a
an
number
outlet.
9.
He's an outlet. Yeah, well, that's to say he's not a number 10. He's more of a 9 than a 10. He's a left 8. He's a 9, but he's not a 10 and he's not a 6. So it's in
But
terms of that physicality.
he's more of a 6 than he is a 10.
We're getting nuanced here, so I don't know. I would say
I just think he's more of a defensive player than he is as a creative player.
yes, true, but he's and also give him time on the ball. He's a very good first time passer. Bounce the ball off him around the corners, first time. So I think that's where he comes. And if we don't offer that, because also that's the other thing we had against maybe City. Gyökeres is always on the last defender. We didn't have that person dropping back, maybe to draw a defender out. So I think sometimes that's his role, is to maybe be that false 9 or whatever, to be that person to maybe draw players out. So yeah, you're right. He's not creative. Give him time on the ball. He's not the best, but get him up, winning headers, knock-ons, passes around the corner. He does some nice passes. I think that's where he excels. But if we don't have the space, the thing is, if we don't have the space, that's where he would struggle. If we've got space, then also he's a better player.
If he starts, and Odegaard's not fit, not available to start. If he starts against Newcastle and Trossard or Martinelli start on the left, Arteta's taken the approach that you mentioned. Don't go 1-0 down.
Yeah.
He's learned nothing from the City game.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the variant. I don't like relying on margins, relying on variance. I thought this year we would be removing all of that.
Well, that was the idea. That's what spending that amount of money on that profile of player would indicate. And he changed it. Look, in his defence, he changed it at half time against City. And I know he had to change Madueke, but he changed Marino. He didn't have to change Marino. He did. Eza on for Marino. He changed that. So that's a tacit admission of a mistake. He corrected it. Let's see if he's learned that, or is he just going to be stubborn as anything because he's copped a bit of grief about that starting lineup.
To prove him wrong. Yeah. We'll only see. We'll find out 3:15 on Sunday. I'll be on a train. I was going to say my low light is I hope I catch my train in time to get there, because I'm.
Oh yes.
I'm doing a half marathon in the morning in Ealing, and I need to be at King's Cross for 12:30.
And your half marathon starts at
9 o'clock. If I was doing it on my own, fine, I'd be no problem. But I'm doing it with my brother, and he's about 1:30 per kilometre slower than me.
adds up after 21 kilometres. Yeah. You have to wait for him.
Well, no, I think we'll run. He's a Tottenham fan as well, so I might actually.
Oh, leave him.
Yeah, well, I might run. Well, because also we're going to be running past where I used to live. I'm from Ealing, West London, so my parents are going to be at the bottom of the road, so we might run past them together. Then I'll say, right, see you later. I've got a train to catch.
Is your brother? Is it you or your brother that's the black sheep of the family then?
My dad's a Juve fan. My mum is agnostic, but I think she prefers Arsenal, and my dad's, I think, maybe more leans Tottenham leaning. So it's all split 50-50.
Isn't it? Are you the older sibling?
No, I'm the younger by 3-4 years. Actually, my brother, before he landed on Tottenham, I'm sure he's got pictures of him in a QPR shirt and maybe even a Chelsea shirt. So he's now actually an AFC Wimbledon supporter because they're his local club, and he thinks he wants to see real football, which I don't blame him. Given
No, good luck. Support your local club. Good, no, as opposed to Tottenham all day long.
Yeah, so basically I've got a train to so hopefully I get my train in time, because then I arrive in Newcastle about 10-4. So then I've got to I'll have my running shoes on, so I just need to run from.
Well, the one thing for those people who don't know where the Newcastle Stadium is in relation to the station, it's not a long walk.
No,
it's literally there.
Yeah, I think it'll take me longer to walk up the stairs to the stand than it will be, to go from the station. So, but yeah, I'll have my running trainers still on, so I'll be able to move quite quickly. So there we
nice
go.
and sweaty, good nice stuff.
There we go. Well, yeah, I'm sure I could make some sort of big market joke there, but there we go. And if you don't know, the big market is a drinking street in Newcastle. Right.
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay, there you go. Oh, it's where you went to university as well. So
right.
Right. Anyway, that's. I think we need to move on and finish this off. So look, Holly, thank you for super subbing at the very last minute. I really appreciate it. And just remind people where they can find you and Steph and Chris and the gang.
At North Bank Pod everywhere. All your socials, TikTok and Blue Sky and Threads and Instagram and what have I left out? X.
Smoke signals and all
that. Yeah. Somewhere around North London. You'll see us, you'll find us, and I think two of us are in the North Bank, and one of us is on the other side to the dugouts. What stand is that? West Stand. There you go. But at North Bank Pod.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, no, go and have a listen after you listen to this. They're a good bunch of guys, and it's good. It's a good listen. So there you go. And look, you can follow us on all those places as well at the Grove AFC. Our next show will be post Newcastle, pre Olympiacos. And as I said, as a reminder, please like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Just get us into other people's ears. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And welcome to the weekend, everyone. And until the next time, come on, you Gunners.
Adios.